did matter, and a great deal. Where does mattering begin? Margaret Anna Cusack was born in 1829 in Dublin, Ireland. All of us have a context, a time and a place that begin to shape our consciousness and our response to a deep and personal call. Margaret Anna was steeped in the Christian faith of her Anglican family. And through that experience, it began to be very evident that it did matter. It mattered who received health care and who didn't. For her father was a family practitioner. It did matter where the powers of politics and religion intersected with daily life. For Ireland was an occupied country. It did matter when people could not speak their language or follow their faith tradition. The mattering of one's heart and spirit grows and is nurtured, is stretched, called forth. In her young adult life, it did matter that she heard the call of God and became an Anglican sister. It did matter that after a short time, she felt called to a different Christian faith tradition and became a Catholic. And it profoundly mattered that for almost 25 years, she was steeped within the spirituality of St. Francis as a poor Clare. It did matter that for 20-some years, she was in Western Ireland, in the city of Kenmare, where she, with her talents and with her deep conviction of God's love for all, that she critiqued the political and religious dynamics of her day, where poverty was not seen as a result of lazy people not doing their work, but the injustices of governments that took from the land the wealth that could have nurtured the lives of ordinary people. It did matter that when famine struck, she found a way to reach out to all who were hungry and in great need. It did matter that when there was not enough seed for future harvests, that she, known internationally as the Nun of Canberra, invited people to share their resources, and she bought seed so that the harvest would be successful. It did indeed matter that she could recognize in society, politics, and religion that the women were second-class citizens, that they were exploited, and that education and opportunity was greatly needed. It did matter that she was called from the city of Kenmare to another, smaller place called Knock, where, with the inspiration of the Spirit, she began to feel deeply called that another kind of religious life, of where sisters and others would go among the people and serve. For as a poor Clare, she wrote, she gathered money and distributed resources, but she was an enclosed sister. And she felt that it was time that God was calling women as religious to be actively engaged with the people. All of those years, the steeping, the experiences, a growing sense of call did matter. And Margaret Anna, Mother Frances Clare, her Christianity was not just of head or heart, it was very practical. She challenged the situations and systems of her day, government, clergy, roles and expectations of women and men. She did it with passion. She did it with love. And in 1884, it did matter that when she went back to England with the blessing of Bishop Bagshaw in Nottingham, and eventually eventually, with the blessing of Leo XIII, the Pope of the day, that a new community was to be founded. And it really did matter, the name she gave us. For Margaret Anna, Mother Frances Clare, knew the significance of name. Name is not just a few letters put together. Name is our identity. Name is that which calls us to be our very best. Name reminds us, fires us, gives us keen sight, and draws us to deep memory. She gave us our name, that we would always remember and deeply love. Peace. A peace that burned brightly in her life and cost her a great deal. We were founded in 1884 in Nottingham. Soon after, she came to the east coast of the United States, and it did matter that Irish girls were being exploited. We call it trafficking today. It did matter that, again, the Irish were labeled and marginalized. It did matter that women needed a place of rest and renewal. It did matter that in the face of injustices, there would be someone who did, who would, and could speak out and name the civil, ecclesial, economic dynamics, name them, address them, and invited others. And so it did matter. It mattered then. It matters now. We are deeply rooted as sisters and associates of St. Joseph of Peace in a past that gives us examples and inspiration, but not simply to focus on the past, but to find our identity in the same dynamics. We're called to care enough to care, and it does matter. We stand in solidarity with the conviction that words matter, that actions bring to life named realities, and it does matter that God loves us all. It does matter that we cross the artificial boundaries and barriers that are so readily recognized and seem so impossible to break through or span. It does matter that we have one another. And as sisters and associates of St. Joseph of Peace, we know that it matters that we take our names seriously, that we take the words of our constitutions and let them sear our souls with a passion for love, compassion, mercy, and peacemaking. So yes, it mattered then, and thank God it matters now.